That was the not as cool of an entrance as I wanted it to be.
You have to like run me in like it's a shopping cart.
Hey, hey tribe, welcome to this week's video. Today we're going to be talking about things that you can do if you sit in an office chair all day long. We're going to just kind of play around with this because there's so many things that we can do that we forget about. We think we always have to go to a gym to work out or create movement, but movement is something that we should be doing consistently through the day. Feed ourselves a minute or 2 minutes here every hour in some way. That's the healthiest way to revive the body back to its natural function, its primal movements. And we're just going to give you a couple tips that you guys can definitely do with or without any sort of equipment besides the chair that you have. First thing that I like to do is, especially if you are sitting down, I like to try and get the legs activated. So a simple one that you can do is if you're at a desk and you're typing, you can just pick the knees up off the ground. Both of them. Oh. And now just hover like that. If you keep both those legs up off the ground, you can continue typing, do everything that you need. You could squeeze the knees together as well too. Now we're kicking in some adduction. That gets too easy. Stick one leg out. Hold that for as long as we want. We can switch it to the other leg. If that feels good, we can bring both those legs, stick both those legs out. We can also grab something simple. And you're like, what's happening? Grab something and squeeze it between the legs as well too. That's a simple, easy way we can get some of the muscles of the legs working. On top of that, we can start creating rotation. So if we stick one leg out, we hold it out, lock this knee out, we're going to just rotate that leg in and out. So while you're typing, while you're doing whatever, we can do that to help kind of mobilize the legs all underneath your desk. So if you're at a cubicle, no one can even see that you're doing it. Or if you're in a meeting for long periods of time, a couple things here, especially if you're a person who has a hard time staying awake from these really important conference calls at work. This is a good way to also get that body or that blood flowing so it helps you stay awake. But those are a couple things that we can do with the legs. Nadine, what can we do for the upper body?
We could do, this wouldn't be great if you're on a Zoom call where they can see your face, but you could always do things like chair dips. You could do things like chair push-ups. You could even do things like
even seated presses.
Stuff, yeah.
It sounds silly that you're just raising your arms over the head, but it's going to help kind of open that back too. One thing that you could do is, especially to help fight that posture of kind of that forward head syndrome where we're typing away, which means we're going to get some tight biceps. We're going to have the shoulders rolled forward, head is going to be forward. A couple things that we can do is we can take one arm and we can place it behind the back. Now we can lean into that chair. And as we do this, if we're just surfing the internet or taking a break, we're now opening up a lot of this pec right here that has a tendency to roll forward if we're going to be typing. This is really good. Not only can you do this while you're at your office, this is a really good thing that you can do while you're driving, as long as you're safe. If you're getting on long drives, tuck one hand behind there, continue to drive all gangster with one arm, switch that up, and we can kind of move that onto that other arm too. But don't ever forget about the basic things of just standing up. You know, even if you have a standing desk, we're big fans of those too. You can get balance boards like I have in my office that you can kind of stand on that get more articulation of the ankles. But anything, like Nadine was saying, even shoulder circles, bringing them all the way around, backwards, forwards. We can also do some stuff with toes, or feet coming up onto the toes, trying to drive up the knees, getting the calves kicking in really high, as well as going in the opposite direction, drive the heels down, raise those toes up, bringing those feet back down, and raising the toes back up. Yeah, or just alternating from on toe to on heel, and just rock back and forth, kind of like a rocking chair for the feet. You're going to start kicking all that blood flow going into anterior tibialis, into all the gastroc, posterior tib, and just kind of moving that body around. There's millions of things that you guys can do while sitting at a desk and kind of help open up that position. We did talk a lot about like the shoulders being rolled forward, but we forget about the biceps, because when we have the biceps in that position all the way, or all the time, excuse me, we can get a lot of weakness up into this upper part of the shoulder where the bicep tendon kind of comes in here. And sometimes we feel a lot of strain. It's a hard time for us to kind of raise that arm up. So we also want to try and open those arms up. If you kind of have that arm hanging by the side and my elbow is just naturally hanging, it's not hanging fully locked out. In general, it means I have a tight bicep. So that means I have a long and weak tricep, and that's why my arm is stuck in this position. So I want to exercise by just lengthening that so I could fire up the tricep, get the full extension of the joint of what's going on here, kind of lengthen this bicep so I can get back to my natural anatomical position, which would look like this. Okay, so if you do find yourself that your arms do kind of hang with a slight bend, or another telltale sign that the shoulders are rolled forward is if you're standing here and just stick your thumbs out and they point in, that means my shoulders are rolled slightly forward. In a perfect anatomical position where my shoulders would sit, if I stick my thumbs out, excuse me, my hands are resting naturally and I stick my thumbs out, they should face forwards. So this is a good quick check to see if that desk time or that cell phone time is taking a toll on your posture every single day. And if you're spending 5 hours, 8 hours of screen time on your phone, which you can totally check out in the settings of your phone, this is a good way to start counteracting it. In general, we say 1 minute of mobility for every hour that you're in that position. It's not perfect, but it's kind of can slowly take away some of the tension in your body. But play around with this. This is it. Like I said, we can give you a couple of these things. They're very basic, but people always look over the most basic things. It's very easy to be complicated and get caught up that I have to do this crazy, weird stretch and rotate it around to try and get the best out of your body. No, keep it simple. Keep it for short periods of time. Just be consistent with it, which I'm sure you guys all know that from everyone telling you that in the world. It's all about consistency. It's not about that big, hard effort right from the get-go. Start making these adjustments to the way that your body moves or the way your body sits at a chair. And kind of go on from there too. You know, the creativity is realistically up to you. I mean, you could be kneeling on one leg. She could tuck one leg behind and sit on the foot on the desk. You could stand, you could go work this way on the chair, and at the same time, if she's sitting down with one leg tucked kind of behind her, so if you bring that leg, yeah. There's another position, just constantly trying to adjust and find that out. Like I said, the possibilities are endless. Go play on that chair, figure out some ways that you can move your body in the way that you aren't moving it now. Let us know. And then if you like our videos, as always, like, subscribe, and those things. And we'll see you next week.